allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Heavenly Father, Lord, we come before you tonight and we ask for your wisdom and your mercy and your grace to pour out upon this county. Father, I ask for your blessing to be over those that are leading our government in this community, that they would care for those in need, that they would be blind to impartiality, Lord, that there would be justice in our community and that we would prosper in your name. Father, I ask for a blessing over their leadership, over their homes. We thank you for our first responders and our teachers in this community. We thank you for our farmers and all that have come here tonight to be heard. And Lord, we just ask for your blessing tonight in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Nancy, will you do a roll call, please?
Akery,
Here.
Bivens,
Here.
Book,
Here.
Dallas,
Here.
Freel,
Here.
Gascoigne,
Here.
Hudson,
Present.
Huss,
Here.
Kitson,
Present.
Copine,
Here.
Naylor,
Present.
Pearson,
Present.
Rod,
Present.
Sheline,
Here.
Scrogstad,
Here.
White, Wilson, Zeman,
Here.
Olson.
Here. Thank you. Under announcements, please mute or turn your cell phones off so they don't interrupt the meeting. We'll go down to the approval of minutes from December 19th, regular county board meeting. Is there any changes or corrections to the minutes? If none, we'll leave them, we'll approve them as presented. So we'll move down to monthly resolutions. I have none. Zoning and planning as usual. There's a report in your packet just for the overview of what the office has been doing the last month, the activities and all the petitions. So we'll move down to B under zoning and planning. I have two petitions going to the ZBA. The first petition is number 25 P 1636. It's by Kevin and Shelley Rod as owners of certain real property identified as PIN number 05-17-05-100-007. It's commonly known as 2506 Shaw Road, West Brooklyn, Illinois, in Brooklyn Township, Lee County. They filed a petition for special use with the Lee County Zoning Board Office, Lee County Zoning Office, requesting a special use permit for the purpose of farm products, processing, packaging, and distribution, farmers market. The parcel is currently zoned Ag 1 Rural Ag District and is 4.15 acres in size. I'd entertain a motion to move that to ZBA. Ms. Naylor moves. Ms. Huss seconds it. Any discussion about moving this to ZBA? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We'll go to the second or another petition. I got petition number 25-P-1637, Kevin and Shelley Rod, as owners of certain real property identified as PIN number 05-17-05-100-007. It's commonly known as 2506 Shaw Road, West Brooklyn, Illinois, Brooklyn Township, Lee County, Illinois. It filed a petition for special use with the Lee County Zoning Office requesting a special use permit for the purpose of construction and farm equipment, machinery sales and services. This parcel is currently zoned Ag 1 Rural Ag District and is 4.15 acres in size. Is there a motion to move this petition 25-P-1637 to the Zoning Board of Appeals? Mr. Pearson moves. Mr. Gascoigne seconds it. Any discussion on this? There's no discussion. All those in favor by moving this to ZBA signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now we'll go to C. There's one petition going to the Planning Commission. It's to the Planning Commission. This petition is number 25-PC-77 by Lee County Engineer. It was filed in which petitioner seeks to amend the text of the Title 11 subdivision, flood control, and stormwater management. Under Chapter 4, Stormwater Management of Lee County Code of Ordinances. Is there a motion to move this petition 25-PC-77 to the Planning Commission? Ms. Naylor moves, Mr. Pearson seconds it. Any discussion on this? Everybody understands what this is, what we're doing? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We'll go to letter D. We have one petition coming from. This is Zoning Board of Appeals. It's petition number 24-P-1634 by George Karochis, as owner of certain real property identified as PIN number 12-14-16-300-001. It's commonly known as 823 Sterling Road, Dixon, Illinois, Marion Township, in Lee County, Illinois. It filed petitions for special use with the Lee County Zoning Office requesting a special use permit for the purpose of operating an auto repair business under the auto repair minor use classification set forth in Lee County Code. This parcel is currently zoned Ag 1 Rural Agriculture District and is 5 acres in size. Is there a motion to approve this resolution with conditions? The conditions are in there for the petition number 24-P-1634. Mr. Reed Acree moves. Mr. Friel seconds it. Is there any discussion on this? If no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I have no petitions coming from the Planning Commission. So we'll move down to number 9. Administrator monthly update, board member comments. Jeremy's not here tonight. He's up fishing. So any other board members would like to have anything to share with us tonight? Nobody? We'll keep moving on then. We come to public comments section of our meeting. I have a couple people that requested to speak tonight. We'll start out with Amy Palmer. Would like to talk to us about our appointment process. Amy?
So my name is Amy Palmer. I'm from Sublette, and last month I was a nominee for the board seat in District 2. And this, I'd like to congratulate Ms. Vallis and Mr. Rod. This is not about you. This is about the process. So here's what I experienced. I was contacted by Dave McCarver in early December asking if I would be willing to be nominated to the position. McCarver had been told by the chair that we had until that Friday to decide, and I ultimately got to yes. And then nothing happened for either of the Democratic nominees. We were ghosted. I waited through the holidays, and then on January 7th, I decided that I needed to be proactive. There's a word for a resume, and sent an email to the chair listing my endorsements from 2 District 2 mayors, a village clerk, listed my various county officials with whom I've interacted, including a FOIA request, and my volunteer activities with the Historic Theater, Farm Bureau, Sublette's Toy Show, and the 4-H Fair. 3 days later, I got a call from the chair's secretary telling me that the position had been filled. This is like January 10th, and it was filled on December 19th. Wait, but this is not a respectful process for your constituents. So how was this decision made if the selection committee hadn't requested information from all of the candidates? How do you know you were making the best decisions? Was the meeting held outside of the Opens Meeting Act? Was the process political? Yeah. Was the outcome, could the outcome have been different if I had the scarlet R after my name like everyone else on the board? Okay, and including the staff. There should be no room for county business for politics. You have county business conduct, not create a political dynasty. You can say that, yes, I could run for the position in 4 years, but in Lee County, elections are political. Unless one has the name recognition of an incumbent, there is no chance for a Democrat or independent to win an election unless you've had the opportunity to earn an appointment and then have used that time to develop the name recognition that you have. But I think you already knew that. And in fact, even with name recognition, there's a rumor going around that 2 of you were asked to switch parties to the Scarlet R, or you would be primaried. So what happens when a board is comprised of one party? You have a closed loop, of an echo chamber groupthink that makes it highly questionable moves like requesting nominees from both political parties, fail to interview every candidate from one party, and not realize we're not going to figure out that the four of us were pawns in the process. The citizens of Lee County deserve to be fully represented. You have a duty to make sure you are fully informed of all the nominated candidates. All of us consenting to be nominees deserve the full respect of the process, including a call from a member of the board who takes responsibility for your decisions for what the outcome is. I am your constituent, and at my age, I'm also your peer. Okay, so I've notified the individuals who endorsed me and their other contacts in District 2 of how this was handled. One thing I learned when I was working for divisions of IBM and McKesson is that you don't walk into a room and list everything that's wrong. You offer solutions. So if Mr. Eglin was here, it appears to me that the county needs a written procedure for how to professionally and maybe even legally handle the appointment process. And I'll make myself available if he feels he needs help. Okay, and then the bigger problem is we need to eliminate the one-party stranglehold of incumbent name recognition for board members. And I think for that, we need term limits for board members. Politics does not belong in county business. You must be better than this. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. If you want to wait around after the meeting, I got a couple things I'll explain to you how we arrived at that and how it all worked, if you've got a few minutes when we get done. Thank you. We'll move to, I got two together here, Andy Shaw and Ryan Tozer. They'd like to talk to us.
Yeah, thanks, Chairman. So I'm Andy Shaw, Lee Ogle Enterprise Zone Administrator. So I'm here for 3 amending ordinances that we have on the agenda tonight in new business that are amending the zone map to accommodate 3 new projects that we became aware of, and our enterprise zone board decided to make our attempt to help them use our tax incentives to make their projects the most successful they can be. The first one is we're calling Amendment 16 in our numbering system. That is a project area that you folks are familiar with down in rural Lee County, where you had recent board action for a project called Fun on 52. The same investor is also building a second site over by the entrance to Woodhaven Lakes. Both of these businesses are going to be in the hospitality, entertainment, bar business. Oh, yeah.
The system picks it up better.
Thank you.
The recordings.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, those 2 different business sites are with the same investor and the same ownership that are going to be developing those. A couple of nice projects by a small business that's already been doing well here in Amboy and choosing to invest again in Lee County. So pretty exciting project there. About 20 jobs at each of those sites, what they're expecting to do. The second one is in rural Ogle County, just outside of Oregon. This is called the HA International, and they are a company that's co-located next to the sand mine there off of Pines Road and Devil's Backbone. And they are in the resin sands business. They're actually relocating a company business and production line and improving it and bringing it to Oregon from Ohio, actually. And so bringing those jobs to our area and adding about 17 jobs at that site. And that'll be in the short term, and they hope to have many more over a longer period of time. The third one then is again in rural Ogle County. It is the Byron Clean Energy Center, the Constellation Energy facility, the nuclear plant outside Byron. Constellation is here with me. Ryan, that was mentioned. They are very plugged into the process and want to make sure they're able to address any questions that might be out there for what they're planning to do. But a pretty nice improvement project at the plant there to increase the megawatt output of the plant. So I'm going to ask Ryan to say a few words about that one.
Well, good evening. My name is Ryan Tozer. I'm the manager of local government affairs for Constellation Energy, also known as the Byron Clean Energy Center. Thank you for your support. Amendment number 18 extends the enterprise zone boundaries up to the nuclear station. We have a major project plan that this would help us with. We will be replacing the high pressure, low pressure turbines and upgrading electrical systems. And so this will be conducted over starting in 2025 and concluding in 2029. There's 4 windows planned for construction and work. During each window, we're looking to hire between 500 and 600 contractual employees. So major investment, over $300 million investment, and a lot of workers to the regional area. I'm joined by Shane Harvey, our plant manager, and Bob Bullock, who is our project manager, have specific details about the project if you have any questions about that or the plant. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, and so then all told, between these 3 amendments, we're using about 200 acres of the allotted space that state of Illinois gives us. So we'll be applying for those 3 once we get these ordinances passed throughout the region. And we'll have about 1,300 to spare after that for future projects. So we still feel pretty comfortable that that we're okay with that with future needs. But there are some other tricks we could do to create some space too. So
Sure.
so with that said, would you want to ask any questions at this point, or should we? We will be here during the ordinance as well.
Anybody got any questions for Andy? We're going to vote on the 3 down in new business. Anybody got any questions for that? I'd just assume stick to our normal order as we're going through here. So we might call you up to the podium when we get to that part, Andy, and go from there. Thank you. Next up, we got Tom Demmer from LaCita, Director. He's here to join us and give us a report and updates.
Well, thanks, Mr. Chairman, and good evening, everybody. I want to note that I brought my daughter Katie tonight, so if there's any questions, she's more than happy to take those. Conclusion of my remarks. It's great to be with you again this evening, just to provide a little bit of an update on what's going on the economic development side here in Lee County. We have a really exciting year ahead, I think. There's quite a few projects that are in the pipeline. 2025 should be a good year for the County of Lee. One of the most interesting new opportunities that we have in Lee County came as a result of an action the City Council here in Dixon took a couple of months ago with the acquisition of a 65-acre parcel that's right on Tollway Drive and Bloody Gulch Road on the south end of town. So it's the land that sits kind of behind Walmart, behind the Quality Inn, really right at the edge of where development has happened so far. The City Council was able to get into really kind of a win-win agreement with the Fulfs family who owned that property previously, and open up a large new territory for commercial and retail development, perhaps even some housing development. So there are a lot of conversations that are ongoing at the city level about just how to use that space, how to extend some utilities there, make sure there's good road access there. We've had conversations with developers already who are looking for a piece of that property. One of the interesting things is, sometimes a developer comes to the city or to the county and is looking for just a smaller piece of property. They don't want to have the capital commitment of buying 65 acres at a time. They're looking for 5 or 10 or 15 acres. And sometimes a landowner doesn't want to piecemeal out their property. And so I think this really, the ability for the city to purchase that, and the fact that it's in the Fargo Creek TIF district, which has really led to a lot of the successful development on the south end of town, gives us a great opportunity to be able to do a little bit of planning, to understand where we want to have commercial, retail, housing, maybe some light industrial, whatever the needs are, and really fit those into a master plan there. So we're pretty optimistic about what that future looks like. One of the interesting stats that I heard just in the last week was the Dixon Chamber of Commerce has a software that tracks traffic counts. They use cell phone data, and they're able to track traffic flows, where people are coming from, how many people are visiting a certain location. And they looked at the new gateway development right there along 26 and found that year to year, there was an increase of 10% traffic, which was an additional 500,000 visitors to that site over the course of 1 year. So you think about really the first business in Gateway just opened 1 year ago. I mean, Chipotle was open basically at the new year in 2024. A few have opened since then, but in that 1 year, there was an additional 500,000 visitors who came through that gateway footprint. So again, we really feel pretty confident that that intersection, that really valuable interchange with I-88, with thousands of people passing by every day, and then all of the normal things that have drawn people to Dixon with, you know, healthcare and employment and shopping and all those kinds of things will continue to yield very good results. And that will make the Tollway Drive site a really attractive place for commercial and retail development. Going just south of 88 then to the Lee County Business Park, we continue to have some good conversations with potential development projects out there. One of the interesting opportunities that's come up, or the interesting conversations we've had in the last couple of months, have been with Deriva on as relates to the South Dixon Solar Project, and potentially looking for an opportunity to use some of the electrical infrastructure that will be developed from that and enhance the capacity that we have in the industrial park. So whether it's a direct connection with some of the solar panels there, whether it's you know, piggybacking on some of the infrastructure they obviously, if you're going to generate electricity, you have an incentive in finding somebody to use that electricity, and we'd be more than happy to help them find some people to use some additional electricity in our industrial park, whether that's in a real high utilization like a data center, a manufacturing facility, distribution centers, things like that. We're in a good spot there, having generation right next to sewer and water and highway access and planned out industrial park. As we move to the western part of the county, I know we've talked about this before, but that's there's a ComEd substation along US Route 30, right near the Route 30 I-88 interchange. That continues to be a very hot area for data center speculation. There are a lot of projects that have tried to find a place where they can get a really, really significant amount of power, where there's the electrical infrastructure to be able to serve a customer like that, and where they can marry that up with available land. As you can imagine, as you go east from here, you get in closer to the metropolitan area, you can't find sites of a couple hundred acres. And so we're really trying to actively bring in people who are looking for multiple 100-acre sites and pair that up with some of the electrical infrastructure. We've had a number of conversations at various levels there, and I think those will continue. I mean, even as recently as yesterday, a new firm who hasn't worked in Lee County before was asking about, you know, where can I find 200 or 300 acres that's near some of these electrical infrastructure lines. And so we're going to aggressively court those as we go forward for unincorporated Lee County. One of the really positive things too, just last night, I was able to participate in a meeting with the Village of Lee Economic Development Committee. Allie's a member of that too. And I don't know if you've been told yet, but in absentia last night, you were elected chairman of that committee. So congratulations to you for that. That's what you get for not showing up at the meeting. We'll be glad to continue working with you. Lee was awarded an OSLAD grant for park development down in that area. They're considering pursuing an unsewered communities grant. We talked about a ComEd grant that's out there for some natural area plantings. So there's some really, I think, good things we're looking at doing and trying to bring in some outside resources to support the community of Lee. Just two more items then. Over on the east side of the county, up in Alto Township, we talked a lot about the dual rail mega site just south of Rochelle there. That is we have ongoing and very advanced negotiations with a couple of projects. One is a very large rail user that we've been talking to for 13 or 14 months. They've made 5 site visits. We've made a site visit to one of their locations. Had a conversation. We have a weekly meeting at this point. We had a conversation with them again today, trying to do everything we can to put together the right pieces of that puzzle to bring in a large project, looking for a couple hundred acres over in that area where we can give good rail service to them. So that one continues to advance very well. And we've had a couple other developers talking about some of the more typical projects, the distribution center types of things over there. We also have a really good opportunity with the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, or DCEO, where they're writing a grant that's tailored specifically towards the City of Rochelle Railroad that will bring an additional $3 million in capital investment to the rail expansion there, the vast majority of which will be in Lee County. So we'll be expanding capacity from the Rochelle Intermodal Transload Center, which sits just north of the county line, but then wrapping down additional service lines straight south into Lee County, right along the dual rail mega site footprint here. We've also had good conversations with the US EDA, the Economic Development Administration, for a federal grant to match up with that. So we could have several $1 million in additional rail infrastructure here without any local contribution that's required. So that would be a really positive thing for making that site even more attractive. And then the last thing is, I just want to say a thank you to Jennifer Boyd as our Chief County Assessment Officer. As we've gone through a couple of these projects, I've had a lot of questions about exactly how we would proceed with the assessment of certain types of projects. We have some unusual circumstances. I can't really get into those right now, but with her, I'm able to ask a lot of good questions. She's been very responsive, very helpful as we're trying to work through projects to understand what their enterprise zone benefits look like, what their county assessment would look like, and just what it would mean to be able to do business in Lee County. So special thanks to Jennifer for that. It's really nice when we have good quality county officials who are able to be responsive and make projects like this a success. So thanks for the opportunity to be able to present to you this evening, and I'd be happy to, well, Katie'd be happy to take any questions you have.
Any questions for Tom? Thanks, Tom.
Okay.
One quick question.
Tom's going.
Yeah.
Does Katie get an ice cream or something for coming with you?
Yeah. I brought her with
Please
me.
be nice to her.
We're going to go watch a basketball game tonight. So it'll be a fun night. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks. All right, we'll move on to reports of standing committees. We'll start with County Services. Mr. Scrogstead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. County Services met last Tuesday. Our meeting was pretty short. A lot of the department heads' reports are in your agenda packet, and then it'll be available to the public later on. One of the reports that we usually don't get, I got one from our veterans that is in there also, that it's new to getting a report, but if everyone take a look at that, just some of the Lee County Veterans Assistant, what we did for them for the last year. So Mr. Gorman put that together for us for a year-end report. So that's all I have.
Any questions for Jack? Thanks, Jack. We'll move on to Public Safety and Court Services Committee. Mr. Copine.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Public Safety met last Tuesday also. The attending department heads went over their reports, and those are on file and available through the packet. And other than that, I don't have, I'm just scanning it here real quick. That's all I have to add. If there's any questions, I'll be glad to try and answer them.
Any questions for Mike? Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
We'll go to Facilities and Maintenance Committee, Mr. Friel. I'll surprise you with that one. So,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We met last Tuesday afternoon, short meeting, went over what the maintenance department is working on and their projects, and that's about it, unless somebody's got a question for me.
any questions or comments? Thanks, Dean. Claims, Mr. Zeman.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Two meetings to report. Wednesday, December 18th at 9 a.m. here. We went through 73 claims. Passed them all on to the county board. Met January 8th at 9 a.m. and we did 55 claims. No, 56, I'm sorry. And then passed them all on to the county board. The minutes are in the packet. Or any questions? That's my report.
Any questions or comments? Thanks, Mike. Finance, Mr. Bivens.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We met last Thursday. It was, as seems to be tradition in January, it was a very light agenda, and it went very quickly, mostly due to to the fact the chairman was not there. And so if you have any questions for him, your minutes are in your packet. If he's not shoveling snow down there, you can ask him.
Any questions or comments? Thanks, Jim. Executive committee, minutes are in your agenda, in your packet. Any questions on that? Tom, you got anything to share? You chaired that committee that day.
Nope, that's very good. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, we'll move on. Board of Health, Ms. White's not with us, so I'll go to 911 Board, Mr. Hudson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There is no report as there were. There was not a meeting last month, but we did have a meeting today and it consisted basically of the voice recorder update. The roofing project for the 911 building bids are out and are to be submitted by March 14th, 2025. And the text to 911 implementation program is in progress. Our next meeting is on Thursday, March 27th at 3:30 PM at the 911 ETSB building. That's the end of my report, sir.
Any questions or comments? Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Kane. We'll go to Tri-County's opportunities, Mr. Acree.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tri-County Opportunities Council had no meeting in December. The next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday evening, January 28th over here in Sterling.
All right, thanks, Reed. Blackhawk Hills, Leo Ogle's own, Jeremy's been taking care of that. He's up north, so we'll move on to Lacita. Back to you, Reed. You got anything to top that report with?
Oh, is Katie still here? No, Lee County Industrial Development Association did not meet in December, or excuse me, in January, but we are scheduled to meet here February 5th that afternoon. So,
all right, thank you. We'll go to CIRMA, Mr. Zeman.
Yeah, thank you. No report for no meeting. We will meet in April in Bloomington, which I will attend. That's it.
All right. UCCI, Mr. Kitson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There was no meeting in December. We do have a meeting this next Monday, the 27th. Will be the training meeting for board members in Springfield. Other than that, we're just starting the new year.
All right. We'll move on to Illinois Association of County Board Members, Mr. Copine.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's nothing new that I'm aware of just yet, unless Nancy may have something. I did speak with Kelly Murray. The IACBM bills that have been researched and approved, or the status as such, have all been turned in by IACBM, and in about of course, tomorrow is the deadline for all of the bills to be in Senate, House, or whatever. So we'll have some more to review there, but in approximately 2 weeks, IACBM will then again meet on the bills that hadn't been submitted up to this point. So other than that, that's all I have.
Any questions or comments for Mike? Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
We'll move down. We have nothing on unfinished business. We'll go to new business. We have an ordinance amending ordinance number 12-15-001. It's an ordinance amending the boundaries of Lee County Enterprise Zone that Andy just talked to us about. This ordinance does not have to be held over. Is there a motion to approve the ordinance amending the ordinance number 12-15-001? It's just amending the boundaries in Lee County Enterprise Zone that we just talked about, Amendment 16. Ms. Naylor moves, Mr. Copine seconds it. Any discussion on this ordinance? It does not have to be held over. So all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The second of the three ordinances that Andy has here, it's an ordinance, amending ordinance 12-15-001. It's ordinance amending the boundaries of Lee County Enterprise Zone, Amendment 17. This does not have to be held over. And once again, is there a motion to approve this ordinance 12-15-001? It's amending ordinance and the boundaries of Lee County Enterprise Zone, Amendment 17. Mr. Kitson moves, Mr. Gascoigne seconds. Any discussion on this? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. The third one that Andy brought to us is an ordinance, amending ordinance as well. It's 12-15-001, an ordinance amending the boundaries of Lee County Enterprise Zone Amendment 18. And this does not have to be held over either as an ordinance. Is there a motion to approve the ordinance, amending ordinance number 12-15-001? It's an ordinance amending the boundaries of Lee County Enterprise Zone Amendment 18. Ms. Naylor moves, Mr. Pearson seconds it. Any discussion on this ordinance? Once again, like you said, it doesn't have to be held over, so all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. All right, we'll go down to a resolution regarding the alternative financial assurance for the decommissioning of Maple Road Solar. Is there a motion to approve this resolution regarding the alternative financial assurance for decommissioning of Maple Road Solar? They're going to do a bank letter of credit for the county. So Mr. Friel moves, Mr. Hudson seconds it. Any discussion on this? I think it's a little over around $1 million. They're going to do a bank letter of credit and they pay us, I think $55 per megawatt to do this. Okay, no questions. We'll move on to all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we'll move to the Teamsters local clerk treasurer collective bargaining agreement. Is there a motion to approve the Teamsters collective bargaining agreement for the clerk treasurers? Mr. Friel moves. Ms. Naylor seconds it. Any discussion? There's no discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we're going to go to F, it's truth and taxation. Let's get a motion on the floor, then we'll talk about it. Is there a motion to take the board member per diem or diems for the truth and taxation meeting off the payroll for the November meetings? Mr. Kitson moves, Mr. Hudson seconds it. Under discussion, Mr. Kitson, you want to explain what we're doing here?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since that meeting was a half hour before our board meeting, it just seemed inappropriate to charge our taxpayers an extra per diem. So we're asking that we just vote in favor of this, and we'll get one per diem for the December meeting and not have two meetings. Saves the taxpayers some money. It seems to make sense to the county.
It just doesn't make sense to double pay us for the same night of a meeting.
And if we do approve this, the records are all taken care of because it was not put in our per diem. So if we don't approve it, we'll have to go back and change it. Thank you. Any questions?
Nancy, you had something you want to share?
No.
No, okay.
No.
All right. Everybody understand what we're doing here? All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. We'll go under appointments. I have a resolution, appointment of Chase Sellers and a reappointment of Henry Orzak to the Compton Community Fire Protection District Board of Trustees. Is there a motion to approve the resolution appointing Chase Sellers and reappointing Henry Orzak to the Compton Community Fire Protection District of Trustees? Mr. Copine moves, Mr. Gascoigne seconds it. Any discussion on this? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. We don't have a need for executive session tonight, so we'll move down to 18. Approval of county officers' reports. Is there a motion to approve the reports? Ms. Naylor moves. Mr. Bivens seconds it. Any discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Is there a motion to approve the monthly revenue report, claims paid in vacation and payroll paid? Mr. Kitson moves, Mr. Friel seconds it. Any discussion? If none, we'll do this by a roll call vote. Nancy?
Dallas.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Friel.
Yes.
Gascoigne.
Yes.
Hudson.
Yes.
Huss.
Yes.
Kitson.
Yes.
Copine.
Yes.
Naylor.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Rod.
Yes.
Mr. Scheelein.
Yes.
Scrogstad.
Yes.
Zeman.
Yes.
Acree.
Yes.
Bivens.
Yes.
Book.
Yes.
Olson.
Yes. Motion carried. Is there a motion to approve board member mileage and per diem? Mr. Kitson moves, Mr. Gascoigne seconds it. In discussion? None. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting. Ms. Naylor moves. Mr. Pearson seconds it. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Thank you.